Hello, 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 hello. All right, just giving folks some time to come on through, trying to get this show started on the road. But the mess is out there. You guys ain't showing up. You're missing some good stuff here. Just to let you guys know. I know the last episode, episode 36, was a couple weeks ago, but 2 weeks have gone by. Now we're on episode 37. Got 38, 39, and 40 to go to finish out this season. So if you're gonna arrive late, then hopefully you guys ask questions and I'll be able to refresh everybody on what has been talked about thus far. But whether you're here or not, it doesn't matter. The show goes on. So, welcome to What the Fuck Just Happened. I'm your host, DJ81. This is episode 37. Damn Snyder. Actually, should sound like this. Damn Snyder! Like, what the hell are you doing? That's the way it should be, honestly. You know, what the hell is going on? What the fuck is happening with my football team? I think that's the $1 million question that constantly gets asked by a lot of Washington fans and even fans or football fans around the nation, trying to figure out what exactly is just wrong with this franchise. It just can't get right. It pretty much finds a way to bungle a season. May have a couple of seasons where we make the playoffs, we get knocked out in the first round. We get knocked out at least by the divisional playoffs. I think the last time we were in the divisional playoffs, I believe when we beat Tampa in 2005, and then we went to Seattle, and Carlos Rogers had that significant drop, which was due to his eyesight, not his hands. And we lost that game to Matt Hasselbeck, in which I think Seattle went on to get to the Super Bowl and get beat by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So hopefully everybody had a good week. All right, I see Bills is in the chat. It's good to see you. Hey, if you can help me, can you share this out? You know, get some people, because apparently when I send shit out, people don't be paying attention. You the only one. So definitely looking forward to more interaction, because this is the pocket. This is the episode to do it, because we got some stuff that we got here to talk about. As I alluded to earlier, talking about the Washington football franchise and, you know, their owner. All right, what is he saying? Oh, you're playing 2K. Because I'm about to say, that's the only way the Wizards are getting beat right now. So, as I was alluding to earlier, trying to figure out what's going on with the Washington football franchise, also going to talk about some shenanigans in my Don't Do That segment, featuring Michael Myers and his kill count, and also who apparently is taking exception to who he kills. And then after that, we'll definitely talk about the Washington Wizards. They are started off. It's funny because when I advertised the show earlier, or yesterday or something like that, they were 3-1. Guess who they beat? They become 4-1. The Celtics. Oh, wait a minute. Was it the Celtics they beat? I'm tripping. But anyway, they beat the Celtics. It wasn't a particularly good game for Beal and Tatum, and but the rest of the supporting cast for both teams actually came through. It was a very entertaining game, very physical game too. A lot of dunks, a lot of shenanigans in that game too. The referees are not doing their jobs, but they have been doing their jobs overall as far as these calls that are not getting called due to players and their unnatural shooting motions. James Harden. So good on them that they've stopped calling that. So let me get the admin out the way. So, where can you find me? You can find me on Twitter at DJ81. You can find me on my blog site at dj81.org. If you want to pledge your allegiance to the show, I hate that bit of word, pledge your allegiance. If you want to send a pledge or a donation to the show, make sure you send it to my PayPal or Zelle with the email address of evo325@gmail.com. Again, it's optional. You don't have to, but if you want to, I'm putting it out there. Also, little commercial. My boy Ty Fleming is a local comedian here in the DC, Baltimore metropolitan area. He has a show coming up here in Columbia, Maryland, right off of Route 108 at the Periodic Table, right there in that business sector, right next to Howard High School. Comedy showcase featuring Amir Khan on November 3rd at 8 p.m. at the Periodic Table. Link to the event is in the description down low, so you want to click that and it'll take you to the Eventbrite site where you can buy your tickets. So they're selling fast, last I heard. So definitely get a chance to check it out. I think that's it for the ads and whatnot. And Bills notes that apparently, since he's beating the Wizards so bad, that the stands are empty. Now, Bills, is that game home or away? Because if the stands are empty, I figure that either the Wizards are at home and they're getting blown out, or I think that'd be the only option there. And by the way, hopefully you guys are hearing everything, hearing my audio, hearing the music. You know, I'm just trying to make sure, because there's gonna be a change of pace as far as the music is concerned, because I found something, and it'll pop up in due time. Away for the Nets. Okay, so yeah, the Nets. Yeah, and it's funny because in real life the Nets obliterated the Wizards. It was just they couldn't get right. I mean, I think my main complaint about that game was that they kept shooting too many threes and missing them. But let's start with the obvious. We're going to start with the don't do that segment. We're going to start with a moment, or just, I came across this article. Now there's several articles now, but the latest Michael Myers movie, Hollywood, I think it's Hollywood Kills, Halloween. My fault. I'm like Hollywood. Halloween Kills. I'm like fucking up like crazy over here. Halloween Kills, latest Michael Myers flick. He's killing everybody. He's been doing this for decades. He was doing it long before I was even born. That's the first Halloween movies in 1978. And this man has definitely been killing it. But before I even go any further, obviously, Rush shows up at the weirdest places. So we're just going to switch to... So, Halloween Kills. So Michael Myers has developed a kill count for all film serial murderers to be proud of. Now, I've come across a few articles, and I don't know what if The Verge was the first article, but TMZ has also produced an article. The Daily News or Beast has come up with an article, and another, I think Fox Insider also produced an article where folks are calling Michael Myers homophobic. Because, spoiler alert, for those that haven't seen the Halloween, the latest Halloween movie, he kills a same-sex couple inside his childhood home. That's one of the many kills he has in that movie. One of many. One of many. I'm going to keep one of many, because I'm going to show you some stats that make this a don't do that type of articles that these folks have written. And okay, let me make this clear. These articles that have been written, these are opinions of one of many folks that have probably seen this movie. I believe a lot of these articles are not even representing the larger view of the LGBTQ community, or as Dave Chappelle references, the alphabet community. So let's go to the stats. All right, I'm just going to go straight to the stats before I even give you my take on these articles. So let's go to the stats, and I'm going to pull up, let's see, make sure I got it. There we go. So here we are. Michael Myers. Well, obviously Jason Voorhees has killed on an average more people per film than he has Michael Myers, but Michael Myers has killed more people. And I don't know when, I think this tally includes the recent Halloween movie. There, I got it right. So Michael Myers has 164 kills. But these articles want to focus on 2 deaths, 1 kill. The 1 kill attempt, 2 deaths. What? Why is it that when you have a legit cause that somebody has to make it just worse for people? Like I don't get it. It's just like people find a way to get angry about stuff for really no godforsaken reason. It's crazy how you see this list right here. I haven't heard, like, okay, I even saw the breakdown of what type of people he's killing. No, there's not a type of whether they're sexual preference or their orientation or their lifestyle or identity. No. According by job, apparently the police, doctors, and nurses should have the biggest problem with Michael Myers, because that's the majority of his kills. Police officers. Matter of fact, there was one moment, one movie, I forget which Halloween, he killed several in a row, a la Terminator in T1. Shoot, police officers definitely have a gripe with the Terminator, but that's a different issue. But definitely doctors, definitely nurses, and family members. That's pretty much the majority of who Michael Myers has killed. So, for a few articles to focus on one of many kills after cops have been killed, and mind you, this is all fictional deaths. This is not real deaths. Nobody really died. It's all on film. We have got to make people aware. Context. You're watching a movie. You're watching a horror flick. You're watching a slasher film. Someone's going to die. If anything, we would have the biggest complaint because it was black people that were getting killed off screen. Our deaths weren't even being shown. And then when they gave us the screen time, they made our deaths the most horrific. You see, they've calmed down on that. But the thing is, we only just complained that we were the first one to die. Don't care if we're the second or third, just the first. But these authors of these articles want to sit here and trivialize the death of a same-sex couple. First of all, spoiler alert, they were in his house. If you understand the lore of Michael Myers in this whole, there's multiple timelines of Halloween, but if you understand all of them, you don't want to be in his house when he shows up. His sister had to find out the hard way. The boyfriend of the sister left just in time, but apparently, I guess, Michael Myers was jealous. I think he had a little incestual thing going on. Got a little jealous, stabbed up his sister. But it's either you don't want to be a family member of Michael Myers, you don't want to be a police officer, you don't want to be a doctor or a nurse. So I hit the mic by accident. And like I said, that was many deaths that took place. Many police officers on screen died, many doctors died, many nurses died. But do you see the Doctors and Nurses Association writing articles or people writing articles on their behalf. Oh, do you see Blue Lives Matter having a fit after several cops died? Matter of fact, they don't really get mad when they die in other films. You don't see Blue Lives Matter going after them, going after like a slasher like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees. Shoot, it's a whole lot of stuff. But I think the people that wrote these articles really were just trying to start shit, and it definitely deserves a don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, the community at large has a humanity issue that goes on every single day. There's enough ridiculousness going on that you don't need to add this. Obviously, it's for clicks, clickbaitish, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. So that's the thing that, came across my timeline. I kind of laughed at it. I know I shared it with a bunch of people. People shared it with me. I know some people said something about it on Twitter. It's utter ridiculousness as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so moving on, and this is where we're gonna add a little change of pace here. All right, let's do this. So the music's gonna stop for a second. I'm gonna just go silent for a little bit. I got something for you guys. And I don't know, maybe I also had the permission or taken care of in the description below. So yeah, we're gonna change the pace a little bit. So let me go to where I need to go. I'm gonna be looking around for a little bit because I had it set up. All of a sudden it's not there. Maybe I gotta go here. Nope. See, it's fun. Okay, that's where I need to go. Good. That's where I need to go. All right, so. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, and let me see if I can find it here. Let me lower this. Not the Wizards. We're going to talk about the Washington football team, and we're going to do it in the span of what I'm about to play next. I swear. You hate to see stuff happen to your team. It's just, this is why we want our owner gone. And this thread by the user Damn Snyder pointed out. So as you see, we're not going to go through everything because there's a lot. This started on October 25th. It is October 29th. And apparently there's still tweets going out. Because this man has done a lot. And if I start to scroll, you'll see it. It's just crazy that this man just continues to own the team. So fans really don't know what to do. This was a once proud organization that won 3 Super Bowls, had 5 trips there, and it's just sad that we have to resort to this. Like this right here in 2000. I banned pedestrian traffic into FedEx Field under the guise of safety after a class action lawsuit alleged that the ban was really intended to increase parking revenues at the stadium. It was overturned. And then he tried to do this shit and was successful in it in 2007. And then he tried to do it in a town in Massachusetts And they overturned that too. But let me go back to the first thing, because this was before he even owned the team. This right here. The first clue that he shouldn't have owned anything, Six Flags, Washington, was this right here. Gets rich off of switching customers' telephone services without authorization under Snyder Communications. An illegal practice called slamming. We're going to have this on repeat, because there's more that we need to talk about. There's more that we need to go through. So I just wanted to make that adjustment real quick, because we're going to be on this for a little bit. I'm going to make sure it does. I'm going to make sure this actually good. I just wanted to make sure that it keeps going, because we got a lot to go through. Now we go to the first thing they did as the formerly the Washington Redskins owner and current Washington football team football owner. Said, bought the team. This was July 24th, 1999. I just bought the team and fired Charlie Casserly, who would go on to win Sporting News Executive of the Year. I replaced him with Vinny Serrato, a failed actor with limited football experience, and held on to him for a long time. Fired him once, brought him back. So let's see what else sticks out as far as, let's see. Oh yeah, this right here. In July 2000, I make Washington the first team in the NFL to charge fans to attend camp practices. $10 for admission, $10 for parking. And I think this is while they were still, they weren't at Richmond yet. I think they were doing their training camp at Ashburn or someplace else. But still, just to charge people just to attend training camp? That's lame. And then get this. The first thing he did, in 2001, he gets fined $3.1 million by the Florida authorities for slamming the aforementioned illegal practice of switching a customer's telephone service without authorization. A major reason why I made millions was Snyder Communications. Yeah, that's how you make money in here. Oh, and get this. How he's able to get around the whole alcohol advertisement thing. So in 2002, he placed liquor advertisements inside FedEx Field in the sight lines of the network cameras, as well as local TV commercials during games, airing ads for Smirnoff Ice and Captain Morgan's Gold during the Redskins telecast, trumpets liquor brands and sidesteps the networks. Smart, but still scummy. Now, this is where he kind of gets to on the field. This kind of jumps around. So it says, in 2002, I fired Marty Schottenheimer after his first season ends 8-3. They started off horribly that year, but he finished the season 8-3. They finished 8-8, and they fired Marty Schottenheimer. Rest in peace, Marty, by the way. And then, oh, this one is funny. I fired beloved longtime play-by-play voice Frank Herzog and replaced him with Larry Michael. Yeah, that Larry Michael, who I allowed to retire in 2020 amid the ongoing sexual misconduct scandal. So we just keep scrolling. I know it's something about Lavernius Coles, but I really don't care about Lavernius Coles. He's a bitch anyway. And apparently this was a continuation of the Lavernius Cole incident. To tell you the truth, we should have really been on this case maybe a few years ago, because I don't know if it was Ryan Clark or it was more like it was Champ Bailey. They said when Daniel Snyder bought the team in 1990, the first meeting with the team, even players and stuff like that, Champ Bailey got the sense that it was going to be a hostile work environment. That's why Champ probably was working his way to get the fuck out of there. That should have been the first clip. But this thing goes on. I'm just going to scroll down. I'm just going to see what pops out. I'm sure anyone who's looking at it, I don't know if I need to make this bigger for you guys to read it, but this is, oh, this one right here, where he illegally cut down the trees that he wasn't even, obviously it was illegal. It was illegally done. He wasn't supposed to cut the trees down, but he did it anyway. Because he's Daniel Snyder. I don't care about that shit. So, let me keep going here. So he's cutting down trees that he's not supposed to be cutting down. He launches a damage control show called Redskins Unfiltered. And it's basically a website featured to rebut everything written about the team in the Washington Post. Immediately after the Post ran a story that mentioned players eating fast food at Redskins Park, I had Larry Michael produce a long video in which team employees testified that Baja Fresh was not a fast food. If it's not cooked at the facility, it's fast food. Whatever. Like, obviously, this is leading up to all the shit that is recently happening with this sexual misconduct, the sexual assault allegations, the sharing of Washington football team cheerleader naked photos. That's why Larry Michael got fired. He was responsible for that. I'm like, then there's Bruce Allen, who should have known that that dude was a snake. He got Scott McLuhan fired. And they actually, and the team, here's another thing. And I don't think this is even in here. They smeared the fuck out of Scott McLuhan. They said that he all of a sudden relapsed and was drinking on the job. But it turns out that Bruce Allen and all them were drinking on the job and not Scott. So that's kind of crazy within itself. But that's the organization that Daniel Snyder is responsible for. And the funny thing about it is that in the apology, he said, I didn't know this was going on. Bullshit. You knew exactly what was going on. Let me find the thing about Trent Williams. Because, you know, even when a player goes to bat for you, you still allow shit to happen. That's why your ass should sell the team or be removed as an owner. Let's get to Trent Williams real quick. And see, this is where, make sure I don't get into the other fan replies. So there's a ton of other stuff, and you can look this up. The user's name is Dan Snyder on Twitter. As you can see right here, you can look. This is all for everyone to view. Yep. Let me get to the Trent Williams one, because the Trent Williams one was really the one that got me, because I was literally fighting other Twitter users because they wanted to defend the organization. They wanted to be company cocksuckers while they were defending Daniel Snyder and Bruce Allen and acting like the player was money hungry. Especially since the player complained. See, here it is. This is not the Trent Williams one, but this is pretty much it. This wasn't the photo, obviously, but this is a sus photo to take with the cheerleaders on their way out. You gonna take a behind photo of them? They're just standing there. They don't even know there's a camera behind them. What the hell is this? And this was published in the New York Times. So who took that picture? Or who obtained that picture from the organization? So that's even shady within itself. They don't even know they're being filmed. They're standing whatever way they want to. So obviously this right here, 15 women accused former Redskins employees of sexual harassment. That's where Larry Michael and them got fired. Bruce Allen was let go, but only let go due to the team's poor performance, not because of the sexual harassment allegations. So it's like everybody's avoiding responsibility in some form or fashion. Like I said, Larry Michael, he wasn't fired, he was allowed to retire. So, because then comes the question was, did Daniel Snyder really get punished? A $10 million fine that didn't amount to anything. And the fact that he stepped away from operations. He's still the owner of the squad. And what have you. I'm trying to get to Trent Williams because the Trent Williams one is just, it's just crazy because it's like Trent stuck up for Daniel Snyder because really it was Trent versus Bruce Allen, and Bruce Allen was putting the screws to Trent. He was literally telling him that he wasn't gonna play. We weren't gonna play you. We're gonna trade you. I don't know if he, because at some point it got to a point where Trent didn't know who to go to, and stuff was happening with the cancerous growth on his head, and this went on for several seasons. You know, people want to accuse Trent Williams of wanting to get waiting on getting a second opinion, but when you're talking to doctors, you're not. Certain people won't go back and forth with the doctors for that long or go back that quickly. I'm like, when everything was going on, he was expressing a concern looking back at it. Not necessarily as he was going through it. If their doctors were telling him there was nothing there, then he's going to believe a doctor. You know, trust science. Isn't that what you tell people about the vaccine? Anyway. So it's like, make up your mind. You wanted Trent Williams to listen to the doctors or not? If they were telling, and they wound up telling him wrong, because then when he finally got it looked at again for the final time, they told him, hey, we need to remove this. It's going to become cancerous. So he was dealing with that. And then in trying to figure out whether he was going to be able to play again, Bruce Allen, for some reason, wants to just not put this man in some type of limbo, make it out that he's trying to, because Trent does want an extension on his contract. That's true. Every player goes for that. But Bruce was the one that really put it out there, and through the media, made it look like that Trent Williams was trying to put the screws to the Washington franchise, when in fact it was Bruce Allen putting the screws to Trent Williams. And who was watching all this happen? Daniel Snyder. So when Trent stuck up for Danny Boy and said that, hey, it felt like Danny was the only one that was looking out for me, was Danny really looking out for you? No. Because if he was really looking out for you, he would have dealt with Bruce Allen. He would have had you signed for an extension, and we would still have you. But now you're in San Francisco doing your thing that you were going to do for us. If Bruce Allen would have just shut the fuck up, and if Daniel Snyder had to just intervene at that moment, because it would have been intervening and taking care of management instead of directly involving himself with a player. But that's Daniel Snyder for you. What else we got going on? Because obviously there's a lot. We had this raid that claimed a couple of our trainers just this past season. A couple of them, they're both on administrative leave. Apparently it's over some regular... Here we go. Here's the Trent Williams saga right here. But yeah, this man could have died. And Daniel Snyder allowing Bruce Allen to mishandle this is another reason why Trent Williams is with the San Francisco 49ers and with a new contract and not with us. Oh God. I'm seeing this from Brandon Noble. I remember that guy. He was pretty good for us. Wow. That's rough. Dan's more worried about getting sued than, you know, Brandon Noble's health. Wow. That's harsh. That's Washington football team's owner. So I think from looking, just scanning all this is a lot. And let's see, this one came, and this one was tweeted out yesterday. So this is just, and this is why Daniel Snyder needs to go. I've been saying this for a long time. You know, fuck that guy. That guy is the worst owner in all of sports. I can't believe I'm saying this. I would prefer Jerry Jones over him. At least Jerry Jones, when he involves himself with stuff, his team wins. Our owner involves himself with stuff, we lose on and off the field. And then another thing, because one thing I look at, and we're gonna stop the music right here. Let me, because we had enough. I'm gonna change the mood a little bit because I do want to talk about the fans part in this. But I was happy to actually be able to play that. I actually found that dude who's in charge, who came up with that song that I was just playing, Lucifer's Waltz, allows people to play it as long as it's not for profit, and I'm not monetized, so it works. But let's go back to normal real quick. There we go. Ooh, excuse me. So, just to continue on with Dan Snyder. Now, I look at the fan base, Washington's fan base. I don't exactly blame the fan base for the status that it's in, but the fact that we're literally fighting each other. There are Twitter spaces being formed for group therapy sessions because of Daniel Snyder's treatment of the team, the legacy, and the fan base. It's a disgrace to the NFL shield. It's a disgrace. Business-wise, it's a disgrace. This is like, I know he's made more money, but the team's value has gone down. There are a bunch of teams, a handful of teams, 8 or 9 teams that have passed Washington as far as the most valuable franchise in all of sports. Jerry Jones is like laughing, like, I'm glad you took over the Washington football team, because if somebody else was the owner, I would still be behind you guys. But, thanks to you and your god awful leadership, we're way ahead of you. The Yankees are ahead of you. Shoot, I don't know what other teams are ahead of them, but Washington's value has gone down. But he still manages to make money. Daniel Snyder continues to make money year to year to year, and it's because you have people that still go to the games. Now, at the end of the day, to complain about the owner and a football team, their performance, at the end of the day, the only way you can respond is with your wallets. Don't purchase merchandise, don't go to the games unless you get a free ticket, so on and so on. And then also lack of attendance, because as of right now, Washington is dead last in attendance. And it's going to get worse as they continue to lose. It's already just visiting team fans. Even the visiting team fans are not even going to show up. That's how bad it's going to get. But as far as the fans fighting each other, always look at the fans are the end result of the success and failure of a franchise in any sport. So it's just like, can't really blame the fans. That's why I don't think players should. I'm like, it's funny to hear the players take shots, but they really shouldn't, because the fans are the result of your actions on the field. Coaches shouldn't take shots because fans are like an indirect result or result of your telling guys what play to run that they fail to execute, that lose ball games and results in unhappy fans. But then definitely I see people like Jason Wright, he's doing his damnedest. He's one of the good guys. I actually like the fact that he's in that position, but he clearly is put in a situation. I believe Coach Ron Rivera is put in this position to where it's just like, you have to clean up a lot. And as long as Daniel Snyder is still owning the team, you're going to be constantly playing cleanup. It's unfortunate. But at the same time, you guys did sign up for the job, so I can only feel but so much sorrow for you guys. But at the end of the day, I don't understand when an investigation pops up and a coach gets more of a consequence than the owner. Coach gets more of a Coach, that's not even on the team. John Gruden got fired for his comments associated with emails that was extenuating from conversations with other identities in the league. Main one being Bruce Allen, who was the GM of the Washington, or the team president of the Washington franchise. And then why the NFL is taking its time, or not taking its time, they've gone out but like, look, there's nothing else to see here. Protecting another owner, but again, who I consider John Gruden an insider, because at the time that this was all going on, he wasn't even coaching the Raiders. He just now joined on as of 2-3 seasons ago. All this was happening up until he coached the team. He started coaching the Raiders. So I figured he was an insider, but obviously he wasn't in the inner circle, which would be the ownership. So a lot of those guys are being shielded. Meanwhile, John Gruden takes the brunt. He has to resign. NFL is about to be gone in about 2 years, because I feel like this is going to blow wide open if government is able to pressure them into releasing all those emails. But you know what? The government will have an issue, because then politically, there's other stuff that could pop up. But like, oh, you put the NFL owners, you put the pressure on them to release some emails. You can go after Hillary Clinton or her missing emails. This is too many skeletons everywhere. Everybody, you open the door, a whole graveyard spills out of these people's closets. I'm telling you, it's whack. So, and it looks like none of that was recording because, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I had to think. Visually, I made a mistake. I thought I wasn't being heard, but I didn't scroll down on the OBS, so I'll take the L for that. But you guys heard what I said. All right, so enough about Daniel Snyder. That's so depressing about the team. I'm like, I was around when they won their 3 Super Bowls. The particular one, 1991, they beat the shit out of every team they faced. Statistically and without shadow of doubt, the best Super Bowl winning team ever. I'm gonna just pull just Chris Jericho, the best ever to exist. Now, pound for pound, player wise, no, they weren't, but statistically, they were the best. It's already been proven. You can go look it up. Jump off a bridge. But anyway, but let's talk about the Wizards. I know. Let's talk about the Wizards. All right, so they do play the Celtics tomorrow. So that would be a rematch of the game. Oh no, they beat the Hawks last night. That's what I was tripping. I knew I was tripping. They beat the Hawks last night. They beat the Celtics 2 nights ago. They play the Celtics again tomorrow at 5 p.m. But yeah, because the Wizards, it was a road game in Boston. They won 116-107, but they beat the Hawks. That was the crazy part. That was the crazy game. I knew I was tripping over that, but so far they see, like, the feeling that I'm seeing from the games, the players, they genuinely like playing around with one another. They like playing basketball with each other. They are having fun. Their press conferences seem like they're having fun. I'm like, you kind of seen a little bit of that when Westbrook was here, but Westbrook is gone. And just to let you guys know, Westbrook was not a detractor while he was here in Washington. He started off slow and he picked it up. He was the edge that got us into the playoffs and actually got us through the play-in tournament. Only we technically were the 8th seed on the last day, but due to the play-in tournament rules, we had to play a couple extra games. So we did that, and we could have gotten the 7th seed, but we messed up there because we lost against the Celtics. But we pasted the Pacers, which every time we beat the Pacers, I like that because I know somebody on Twitter, the Live King, that is a Pacers fan. And I don't get it. Thought he was in Toronto. What's up with that? You're from Toronto, but you don't like your home team, even though the Pacers haven't won a championship ever. But the Raptors just anyway, and we beat the Raptors opening night, so that was kind of funny. But I like how Dinwiddie is playing. Beal's struggling a bit, but I know he's struggling with an injury too. I definitely like how Harrell's playing. Montrez, he brings a certain attitude to the squad that, you know, it's been there in spurts, but he's very vocal, and it's like from day one he established himself like, look, I'm the veteran. I've been there. I know I'm new to the team. Bradley Beal's your leader. I like how he just like, look, we all are gonna follow Bradley Beal, but I'm the enforcer around here. You got a problem with Beal, you got a problem with me. That's the energy he puts out there. And it seems like that's the energy that I've seen him with other teams that he's played for. The Clippers, the Lakers, any other squad he's played for. He always has been the enforcer, but he has performed better than what I thought he was going to perform. I know he made a statement the other day talking about the fact that I felt like I needed more opportunities to showcase what I can do, because I can contribute more than just being an enforcer and grabbing rebounds. And he's been doing that. He's been putting in work. Like, obviously grabbing boards, blocking shots, but he's scoring the points. And that's the opportunity a lot of people like that want to put out. And he's given the opportunity, and he's doing that. And the funny thing is, somebody sat there and said, if Montrezl Harrell is coming off the bench and is your leading scorer, you're in trouble. Well, because he was our leading scorer, but unfortunately, he didn't come off the bench. He was actually starting that game. We won, but still, he provides that burst, that energy coming off the bench when he's not starting, and that's good for us. Kyle Kuzma, Scott OG's favorite child. Jokes on Scott OG, because apparently Kuzma woke up. He's averaging a double-double, and he's been scoring in the 20s a couple of games. KCP, doing what he usually does. He hits threes. That's what we brought him in for, but part of that whole new blood, you know, out with the old, in with the new. Aaron Holiday. I heard the Live King wonder why the Pacers didn't pick up Aaron Holiday, and we got him, and he's filled in quite nicely. Now, not to mention, you know, your current players, Neto, Bertans has been spotty. We'll see how he plays out, but there's less pressure on him to hit these shots because you got him, Kispert. They actually let him speak opening night to introduce the team to not introduce the whole team to the fans, but pretty much speak. I thought that was actually a sign there. And I'm like, if you're a rookie, you're not afraid to speak to the fans. Yeah, it's one in my book. But so far, team's 4-1. They're heading, and that's the right step. It's a good start. I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be like, because it's an 82-game season. They have not arrived. If anything, the Nets, the little thing in these games that I've seen tells you that they have not arrived. They don't know how to finish these teams off. In each game, the Pacers game, well, in particular the Pacers game, they should have finished off the Pacers before they went into, because that game went into overtime. They should have finished them off. They wound up beating them 135-134. Hawks, they almost let back into the game. Hawks were within 3 at one point. I think they tied the game, but then they blew it wide open. But as far as imposing your will on these teams at a key moment, and it usually happens around like the mid to late third quarter, because the Wizards will do a good job getting out in front in the third quarter or hanging in the third quarter, and then that just tail off. And that could be a substitution thing. That could be, okay, we're up by like 16-20, we can relax. When in this day and age of NBA basketball, you can't do that, because teams will go on runs, and games are a series of runs. That's the way it works. So I like what I'm seeing out of the Wizards. Guys, keep it up. DC above all. Just make sure that you finish off teams above all else. And Bill will be on track, and we'll be good to go. So that is pretty much it for what I got for tonight. Didn't want to stay on long. Pretty much met my hour that I wanted to speak to you guys. You know, shout out to Bills. I know he showed up tonight. And hopefully you guys that are watching this on a replay, just send your comments below and let me know how things went. You know, let me know what your thoughts were on these topics. And then you'll also hear this when I release this on Spotify. So you'll just hear the audio version of this episode. This is episode 37. So we got 38, 39, and 40. So we have 3 more episodes to go. Now, my question is, who's going trick-or-treating? Because Halloween's on a Sunday, so you're not going to do it on Sunday. You're either going to do it tonight, or you're going to do it tomorrow night. I don't have a costume. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot to let you guys know. Yes. We won a championship this past Sunday in our run and shoot league. So I am now part of a team that are 2-time champs of the fall. So we are the Lords of the Fall for the Howard County Run and Shoot Football League in 2021. We won it in 2017. We beat a team called the Bolts. Guess who we beat for this one? Yes, the Bolts, in which they haven't beaten us since the beginning of 2017. I think the last time we faced them earlier that year, and we lost in the spring. We lost to the Bolts in the spring of 2017. We came back in the fall, beat them, and have not lost to them since. So, you know, like that string that Dallas had against Washington, that's what's going on right now. So I'm looking forward to coming back in the spring after I recover a bit, because by the time spring rolls around, I won't be a spring chicken. I'll be 42 years old and still going. And I've had, in this year, this 2021 year in total has been hell on my body. So there will be a day where I will hang it up, but it's not happening anytime soon. So on that note, I hope you guys have a good night. You know, stay safe. It was a storm. It was a rainy mess out here all day today. I think we had like a tropical depression roll through here, but it was crazy. And a friend of mine wanted it to be snow. I was like, well, if it snows, it's a life-threatening blizzard. You don't want that. But anything to get out of school, I guess that's what she wanted. But anyway, you guys take care. I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace.